Over the years, we've shown you hundreds of examples of how one person can and does make a difference in this world. So imagine the difference an entire family can make if they join forces and focus their energy on one goal. We recently followed more than a dozen members of the Abay family halfway around the world to see how they're changing things, not just one person, but an entire village at a time. The results are truly astounding.
I had an inkling in my head that this is going to be an epic trip, you know, and I've been so excited about it since I knew we were going to come out here and do it, and it's been far above and beyond anything I was ever expecting it to be.
That was Casey Abay talking about a life-changing journey. Casey is one of 15 members of the Wichita-based Abay family who spent a week of their vacation time building homes for the poor in the Philippines.
You could go to Hawaii, you could go to Florida, you could go all these great places. Why would you choose to come here?
We had friends when we were leaving that said, why are you going all the way to the Philippines from Ohio to help people when there are people here locally who need help? But the people who need help in the United States are so far from the need that these people here in Bacolod City and other Gawad Kalinga villages.
Like the guys at home that aren't doing all that well compared to the people here are fine.
That's no exaggeration. Even the worst off people in the United States are better off than the majority of people here. In a country where 90% of the population lives below the poverty line, having a nice, clean house in a safe neighborhood is nothing short of a miracle.
There's definitely a cultural gap between what is here and what is there and what life is like in general.
You wouldn't believe what people, what a lot of people live like and the struggles that they have every day and how challenging it is.
The fact that we're only here for 1 week, it's not difficult to put in the time and the effort and the sweat labor. I know I'm going back home to my everyday life, and it's gratifying for me to know that I've given it my all for 1 week to help the people that live in this village. For me, it's 1 week of sweat labor. For them, it's every day for months and months ahead without the security that they're going to have it. They just do it for the hope of possibly having one of those homes.
Christine is the oldest of the 6 children in the Abay family. She was actually born in the Philippines but moved to the United States when she was 8 years old. Although she's been back to the Philippines since then, this is the first time she's taken part in a build.
I know people always say, wow, it's amazing, your family's doing such great things, but part of the reason we did it is for our own family and the experience that we get out of it, especially our young children. We have a 10-year-old son, Bennett, and a 4-year-old daughter, Amelia. She is doing a great job.
What if I do my hair?
It's okay, we'll wash it off.
Yeah.
Growing up in the United States, we have so much, and for them to see how other families and how other children live, so different from the way they grow up and live, it's just a great lesson for both of them.
Christine's brother Michael feels the same way about his son, who came along on the trip as well.
My son Michael is fairly quiet, and he thinks constantly. So he may be playing out there, but he sees how the kids don't have anything to play with, might have the oldest clothes or might not even be wearing shoes, and he's a very feeling person. I think he senses that it is a different atmosphere, different environment, but he'll definitely take something from this experience home with him.
Michael is the second oldest in the Abay family and was born in the Philippines as well. Earl, the third oldest in the family, has a recording studio in California.
It's a third world country, and now they're like working their way into the first world, like a family at a time. It's pretty neat.
Casey, a professional musician, is considered to be one of the middle children in the Abay family.
You're building futures, you know, not just houses. I was lucky enough to be raised, you know, in the United States, given things that, you know, that most people don't get a chance to, you know, have in their life. And to come out here and see, you know, the same smiles on people's faces that have far less than what I've been fortunate enough to experience and have.
Emily Abay is the youngest of the Abay family.
Just seeing what we have compared to like what they have, it's just like really eye-opening and everything. So just like really grateful for everything that we have.
All of these family members are taking their vacation time and have spent money out of their own pockets to do this.
You're taking a small time out of your busy schedule to you know, give of yourself to someone else.
This is no small commitment, including layovers and 4 plane changes. It takes a total of 28 hours to get here.
The Philippines is still home, I think, to my parents. And to come here and build for Gawad Kalinga as part of a family mission is very meaningful. It's a passion for my mom and dad to be part of Gawad Kalinga. They live and breathe Gawad Kalinga.
So what makes Gawad Kalinga so special?
In our language, Gawad is to give and Kalinga is care.
Butch Villanueva works for Gawad Kalinga, affectionately known as GK. He helps supervise groups like the Abay family on the build sites. GK is based on the idea of teaching people to fish rather than just giving them one.
It all started here in Bacolod way back 1999.
Butch gave up a high-paying job as an architect to build the future of the Philippines instead.
Because for the past maybe 20, 30 years, they don't have a decent opportunity to have what I achieved in life. Here in Negros, we failed miserably to develop a middle-class economy. I suddenly felt that I have to do something. I have to do something. And that something will change the lives of people.
Tex Abay was the first of the family to take part in a Gawad Kalinga build. It changed his life so much, he wanted to share the experience with his entire family.
One more. All right, that's it.
Yeah, it's like still...
Have to mix again.
Ever since we got involved in this, it's amazing how scripture came alive. Dying to oneself, to totally give for another makes total sense.
He's been on several builds over the past few years and now comes on 1 to 2 builds every year. GK encourages cooperation and working together. It's a lot different from just seeing the needy from your car window.
You don't see the behind the scenes of what really goes on, and you know, you drive by and you picture, you think that you understand of the lives that they're living, but to actually spend some time with them and like work with them and speak what little you can with them, it's, you know, it's a whole nother story.
When that person holds that brick and passes on to a person who's going to be living in that house, it's not dramatic, but it's very, very vivid. That you can be shaken to your very core. You're going to be shaken to your senses. You're going to be shaken to what you feel that is necessary for you to do.
I've actually chatted with the actual villagers and gotten to know them and seen the children and my children playing with their children. It's much more personal.
Working side by side with people that don't necessarily speak a language you can understand, but yet you work side by side with them and seem to be able to communicate. How is that happening?
It's hard to explain. It just kind of happens. Like, you guys we're working to a common goal. It's universal. Supersedes language. what we're doing.
Language isn't the only obstacle. There are no power tools, no amenities. In fact, there's no electricity of any kind.
Like we don't have cement mixers, we don't have jackhammers, we don't have power drills. We're just sheer old school manpower, and it's awesome.
But I didn't think it would be this dirty stuff. I didn't realize that our rake would be a piece of wood with 5 nails pounded in the end.
Houses here that you see, they were built with very, very minimal tools.
And that's intentional. Rather than use cement mixers, which would be a lot more efficient and easier to use, GK prefers to use this method to build relationships along with the houses.
The first shovel or pail that I lifted in GK changed me. Because I'm working with them and sweating with them, I am getting to know my brother. I am getting to know my sister. It's a process of how a community builds itself that's more important than bringing in machines. Because in the future, this community will take care of itself. So if we do not have the capacity to teach them how to live together and how to work together, this thing won't work.
I think it's part of the magic about the whole thing, right? That it is this country, it is where they are in a lot of ways. And if it was too easy, it would not be the same thing.
Came into this thinking that I worked hard before, and that never worked this hard. You know, they were there shoveling sand, digging the holes for the foundation, pouring the concrete themselves. And they have something to be proud about. And it wasn't like, I mean, people helped them, but they earned it. They definitely earned it. And it empowers people. And it changes them.
In other words, these homeowners now have a vested interest in taking care of the houses once they move in, too. This is more than just a house. It's a future. GK's been able to provide something that, up to this point, no other program's been able to do. Give these people something they've never had before, a chance.
I think what it is that they're not getting handouts. Because it's not a handout. It's not a here you go, hope you take care of it.
We're merely planting the seed, but we know that because these people were given that seed, they will nurture it, nourish it, give it life, and make it grow. And not only that, every single member of that family eventually becomes a full-blown, independent individual. And I think that would be the hope for this country, when each and every single individual believes that they are worth something, that one day this country will rise from poverty.
Before they can get a house, each family has to put in 2,000 hours of sweat equity working on homes for other people in the village, which builds bonds between neighbors, too.
Those guys are half my size, and they work twice as hard as I do, and I can't keep up. And I'm dying. I'm, sweating bullets and just struggling to keep up with the guys. And it puts a new perspective on hard work, definitely. I mean, they're willing to break their back to get them and their families, or even sometimes their grandkids, into one of these places. When you see an 80-year-old lady carrying the same bag of sand that I'm carrying, and smiling about it, it's something else.
The thing that surprised Earl the most was the fact that these people are not asking for a handout.
And they're not struggling because they're lazy.
There is no welfare here, no government programs, no food stamps, no medical programs, no support of any kind.
These people actually wake up at 4 in the morning so that they can catch the trash as they're thrown, so that they can get the best things from the trash, either to eat, to sell, to recycle, so they can have something to actually live for the next day.
This is what earning $1 a day gets them. Before GK, this is where they were forced to live as squatters. There is no trash pickup here, so people just throw their trash out of their windows. This stream that flows through the area is coal black, filled with garbage, sewage, and sludge. This is actually someone's house.
Seeing their living conditions is pretty horrible.
They just want to be able to sleep under a roof and keep their kids in a place where, you know, the bugs aren't crawling and there's a chance that the shanty's going to fall down on the family.
40,000 families in Bacolod alone live like this. And if you consider each family is about 5 to 7 members, those numbers add up pretty quickly. There is no running water here and no toilets. In some areas, the smell is almost unbearable. 43% of the population here lives at the poverty level. Now, I get to go home at the end of the day, but for these people, this is home.
Every time there's a heavy rain and a high tide together, we had a flood inside our house that gone up here. So everything is in wet. Everything is disgusting to us. And we're going to wait until the low tide came and the flood were going to go down for us to cook our foods. And I used to put my son in our table for him to sleep.
It's not fit to live in at all. So we bring them out of that situation and orient them and teach the mothers on how to take care of their children properly. It's the basics. It's, you know, it's preventive medicine. You feed your kids well, not with steaks, not with anything else, but nutritional food.
It's more than just a house. GK also gives each resident a plot of land and offers them classes on nutrition, gardening, and protecting the environment. These villagers were so proud of their garden, they took us on a tour. The people in these villages have never had land before, so they had no idea how to raise a crop. GK teaches them what vegetables will grow and how to grow them.
How she chose the vegetables in her plot is by dish. So if somebody wanted a certain dish, and they'd go to her, and they would trade vegetables if the other wanted what her dish was, and which was smart.
This is what a finished village looks like. One day the village where the Abay family is working will look like this too. This is Mariposa.
You see them in brightly painted, you know, colorful houses with plants, with, you know, beautiful flowers. And
the homes are painted bright colors in contrast to the dark, dirty, depressing shanties.
We give them a step-ladder approach to rise up gradually and to smell. The air on top of the water is good. It's good, it's good, it's nice. So gradually, because if you do that immediately and just pull them out and transpose them on top, it won't work. It won't work, man. It won't work. And in GK, we don't believe in dole-outs. We don't believe in dole-outs. You have to work for it. You have to earn it and you have to work for it. We believe in the principle that families united together can change the world. Change the world.
They're setting a new bar, and they're narrowing the gap between the poor people and the aristocracy that's here. Because it's definitely something that I saw before, that I thought that that's just how it's always going to be in the Philippines. I actually see a change in that, you know, and that's pretty amazing.
They transition from practically knowing nothing at all into something that can set them up.
It also has child and youth development programs in each village. Butch says they found that most of these kids didn't even know their ABCs.
What letter is this? C. C, very good. We see you listen.
Here, we are giving the kids in GK and the neighboring communities, because we are not exclusive alone for GK, we take in other kids, a jump start in life, so that when they hit grade 1, they know the 3 R's, as we say so. We are teaching these kids how to live a better life. And maybe that's one of the strongest legacies and impacts on what GK has created in the communities.
But it gives them hope. It gives the kids hope. that they can dream.
When they aren't struggling just to feed and shelter themselves, they can set higher goals, goals that until now were unimaginable. The children of these families are more likely to go to college, are more likely to own a home themselves, are more likely to improve their status and station in life.
Din schooling from Sumag Public High School.
Valentina Villanfanti has a house here in Mariposa. She has a son who's 15 years old and a daughter who's 14.
Gawad Kalinga was changed our life. It's so nice to live here. Our life is so matawhay, peaceful, yeah. And then the children are to live here in house safe.
Some villages even teach residents a trade. These women are making clothes, which they sell to outside vendors.
But this is something that's going to last, that snowball is going to get bigger and bigger as it rolls from generation to generation.
GK believes it's important to teach people how to be good neighbors as well.
We don't have fences here because we teach our brothers and our sisters that you will become your brother's keeper. I watch your back, you watch my back. I watch your front, you watch my front. So all of them watch this place together.
After spending a week working on these homes, all the Abays agree the program just makes sense.
What do you hope that all your children will take away from this experience?
Well, a few things perhaps. One, the value and appreciation of what they have. Because they're truly blessed compared to these people. Second, more than anything perhaps, is the ability to, or the appreciation of the giving of oneself.
It really makes you realize how blessed we are, and I'm just happy to be able to help them.
So many people are out there to go out to, change the world or, make huge steps, but they don't realize that the little things can cause big things to happen. I might not be the one that changes the world, but I might touch the life of somebody that does go out and finally change the world. Because of what we're doing, that person might be coming out of, one of these villages that we helped set up.
This vacation has not only changed the lives of those who live in these villages, it changed the lives of the Abays too.
This is really the first time I've ever seen everybody working together, and to see everybody pitch in, and especially the teenagers.
Ian is one of those teenagers.
On the way to the airport, was sitting beside me, and he said, I don't want to come. I don't want to go to this trip. I said, I know. I says, I'm only coming because you're building. I know. And he says, well, I'll never want to do this again. I just want to do this just because I need to come. I said, I know, and you'll never be asked again. You'll never have to go again. Just come this one time.
From my understanding, you did not want to come.
No, I didn't at all.
He could care less, and there he is, picking up the stone, shoveling the stone.
Did it change your mind?
Yeah, it did, big time.
And I think it's really made a difference to him. And I know for a fact that he wants to come back and do this again.
The last part of the trip, I was surprised how deeply involved he was. He was out there before even I could get there.
Everybody realized that all of them had one common thing in to bond with each other. And that is, we really want to help other people.
Although he was raised in the Philippines, Tex says it also changed his life too.
I also got into the pursuit of what we call the American dream. I became true with anyone else that migrated to the United States. It became a passion to me to achieve and achieve and reach my dream. And for a while there, all these became secondary. I was just like everyone else. I was so engrossed in achieving and acquiring things for myself and for my family that the others were a distant second.
There we go. There we go. Ooh. All right, go. There we go.
Here, when you give, I think it's just priceless. You cannot put a value to it. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter whether you wear a Rolex or any brand name. It doesn't matter.
In my life, I've worried so much about, one thing or another, but when it comes down to it, it doesn't really matter. Like, I want this, I need this, and I really don't. Like, it's all just, stuff. And what you can give somebody is you, and to be able to sit here and give my time and my work and myself through GK, it's just been an amazing experience. It's opened my eyes to what really matters, in life.
Put your back. Bend your knee. You okay, Bennett?
I think it has significantly changed my outlook in the sense that truly you think about what really matters in this life. We have maybe 70, 80, 90 years. And when we shall have been gone, it doesn't even matter what people think of me or of a person. I think it matters what have I truly done that matters. And it doesn't matter who remembers or who even would think of me. It's just the fact of having lived your life and lived a meaningful life in that sense.
Hey, Michael, can you come in and get some
I just feel so much better. Like, I spent my time doing something that wasn't just for me.
No, Bennett, over here.
We're not the same people we were a week ago. Our lives are changed forever.
Frankly, so was mine. A lot of Fortune 500 companies actually send their executives to take part in building homes for Gawad Kalinga as part of their team building exercises. If your family or your company wants to have the ultimate bonding experience, you can go to this website for more information.